My name is Dr. Tanzina Ahmed, and along with my partner, Dr. Rositza Ilieva, I'm pleased to present our research on students' food insecurity in community college. Community colleges are unique institutions that allow many underprivileged minority students a gateway to higher education. However, due to their relatively high levels of family poverty, students in community college may be especially vulnerable to the rising epidemic of hunger and food insecurity among the general American college population. Accordingly, community college campuses have been recognized as playing a special role in combating food insecurity, a role highlighted by the increasing opening of food pantries on community college campuses. Yet we still know very little about how community college students in New York access food on campus or respond to campus food initiatives. To further examine these issues, we studied a community college campus in New York City that is a designated Hispanic serving institution. This institution opened a campus food pantry in 2016 to combat food insecurity among its predominantly minority and low-income student body. However, relatively few students among the total student population have utilized this resource over the last 2 years. To explain this paradox and understand why students were not responding to the college's initiatives, we conducted a study that included responses from many students in this college. Ultimately, we sought to answer two major research questions. First, how do predominantly minority and low-income students on an urban community college campus access food? And second, how do students' inability or ability to access food on campus shape their perceptions of the college institution and their response to campus food initiatives? Our study is a complex one that combines and contrasts an analysis of the campus food environment with an in-depth assessment of students' experiences. We begin by asking students to fill out a detailed survey, which included questions on their experiences with food insecurity on and off campus. We also asked them to write narratives or short stories about their lived experiences with food on campus. Specifically, we asked students to write about an easy and difficult experience with food on campus. We also asked them to write a letter to the college president about their food experiences, which allowed them to directly address an authority figure and give suggestions. Ultimately, after one semester of recruitment, we collected data from 178 student participants. It's worth noting that the majority of our student participants reported being either Latino, Hispanic American, or African or Afro-Caribbean American. This represents the ethnic breakdown of the institution we were working from. Additionally, the majority of our students reported having household incomes under $50,000 a year. This might even underreport their poverty, since institutional data demonstrates that 78% of all students in this community college have household incomes under $30,000 a year.
Right, so let's turn to our findings. Perhaps one of the most striking findings that has emerged so far is just how common food insecurity was in this sample of students. 65% of our students reported being very low food secure, while another 31 reported low food security. So clearly the majority of our students reported problems accessing healthy and affordable foods. So a key question was, how does this relate to where and what students are eating while they are on community college campus? Well, it turns out that the often food insecure students of our study ate at some of the cheapest and most convenient locations around campus. Students reported that their most common sources of food were campus vending machines, nearby bodegas, and nearby grocery stores. In fact, actual food outlets on campus, that is the campus cafeteria and the campus cafe, lagged behind even fast food outlets. Unfortunately, the food pantry on campus was the least used source of food. So why might students be so reliant on vending machines? Part of that might simply be convenience of use. When we ask students how much time they typically use to travel to food while on campus, almost 60% of the students reported less than 10 minutes of travel. So part of the reasons why students might be opting for vending machines can indeed be the fact that they are located all over campus and require little to no travel time. But then again, one can just as easily ask, why aren't students eating from the campus cafeteria or the campus cafe? Those are located right on campus. Why go to a bodega a few blocks away? Well, it turns out students care about plenty of other factors besides convenience. In fact, when we asked, it turns out that students rated the price and the variety of or quality of food on the menu as the most important factors when making food choices on campus. Though again, we can ask, why would that make students less likely to go to campus food outlets like the cafeteria? And the answer is, the students simply seem to be reluctant to go to the campus cafeteria because the food there is expensive and unhealthy. That is why. Sadly, one of the reasons why students may be food insecure is because they often have problems getting access to healthy and affordable food on campus. We audited the meals available in the campus cafeteria and found that 4 major categories of food are available: all-day breakfasts, wraps, sandwiches, and salads. We found that processed foods, high in refined grains, sodium, and fats made up 51% of the cafeteria food options. What is more, the healthiest and nutritious meal category, that is that of salads, was also the least affordable, as you can see. On average, salads costed $7.62. If you charge a student with a household income of $30,000 per year, almost $8 for a salad, well, you can't be surprised when they don't order too many salads. That's one reason among many for why students report buying food more often from the vending machines than from the campus cafeteria or the campus cafe. And we suspect that this in turn might increase their distrust of the college institution's efforts to provide a healthy food environment for the students. The high cost of food on campus matters to both the physical and the educational well-being of students. In fact, by conducting correlations on the first 50 participants in our study, we found that students' food security is related to their educational experiences. For instance, we found that the more food insecure students are, the more likely they are to experience academic difficulties during a class or during an exam. So food insecure students are reporting more struggles in the classroom. Furthermore, when students find the price of food to be unaffordable, they're more likely to go to a fast food restaurant and less likely to use the campus food sources like the campus food court or the campus cafe. Perhaps this even turns them away from using the free resources like the food pantry.
So back again to the narratives. When we look at the narratives students write about their college experiences with food, we often do see some real distrust in the college institution that comes about because of the high price and low quality of food on campus. For instance, one student named Norah wrote the following letter to the campus president. She wrote, "I should not have to venture about the campus looking for healthy food options, but it's a sad reality. From the vending machines to cafeteria, it is all processed food instead of healthy food options. It makes me feel that the school board doesn't care much about the student body or promoting healthy eating, but more about profits. I would love for the campus to make me feel they care about the student body's well-being and not only see us as a profit machine to make money off of." So Norah is clearly demonstrating her real concern and distress about her community college within her letter. But how common are her negative opinions among other students? To answer that question, we conducted a values analysis on the narratives of our first 50 student participants. Values analysis looks at the most common beliefs or opinions students have about some phenomena of interest, in this case, food in community college campus. Among our first 50 participants, the most common value expressed was that of difficulty, which demonstrates their belief that there are difficulties with food should be shared and met with understanding and action on the part of the college. The next most common value was that of voice, voicing real concern and saying, we have opinions and beliefs that should be heard. Then after that came solutions. So this is when students were offering potential solutions or offering solutions they had already worked from, demonstrating their ingenuity in finding food on the campus environment. And sadly, the least common value that students express within their narratives was that of institutional strength. So only a relatively small number of students, only 7% of students focused on how the college institution worked on their behalf or offered them food-related support. So our initial narrative findings demonstrate students' skepticism that the campus environment was designed with their well-being in mind, as they spent so much more time complaining and talking about their often negative opinions than talking about solutions to problems or talking about what the institution was doing right. So overall, our work demonstrates that urban minority community college students can face great food insecurity. It also suggests that more attention needs to be paid to both the deliberate and inadvertent signals that the community college institution gives to students via its organization of food on campus. While the institution we worked within clearly cared about the health and well-being of its student body, it also sent powerful signals about its lack of attention to students' health through the expensive and unhealthy food it offered in its cafeteria and its cafe. These signals about a lack of attention might undermine students' trust in the college institution and ultimately undermine students' ability to use other food-related resources like the campus food pantry. As college researchers and faculty members, it is up to us to meditate and think about the inadvertent signals we send to students through institutional food policies and to break this vicious cycle in the future.
Right, so to conclude, we do believe that our research demonstrates the importance of taking on a holistic look at the community college foodscape. We understand that it can be tempting indeed to boil down the difficulties of food insecure students to individual factors, such as how they make their food choices, or the social environmental factors, such as whether their family gives them certain types of meals, or even to broader physical environmental factors, such as the food available within the campus cafeteria, or the macro-level environment, such as funding available from the college institution. However, it is our belief that to help minority students alleviate their food insecurity, we need to take a look at how all of these levels across the community college foodscape affect one another. The individual affects the collective, which affects the institution, which in turn affects the individual. Only by understanding how all of these layers affect and encompass one another can we begin to make strides in understanding and alleviating students' food insecurity in community colleges.